A very good afternoon, everybody, and a warm welcome back to Ennis, County Clare Island, for the resumption of the World Championships. This is the last 16 of the Men's World Championship singles, and Ronan McCarthy, the defending champion, is in action. He's taking on Johan Attard of Malta, and a slightly interesting dynamic here. Do just wonder with Johan especially how much confidence he is carrying into this match, because he was part of the very first ever Maltese team to win a world title last night. They won the World Team Shootout in magnificent fashion. They beat Northern Ireland along the way, Ronan McCarthy's team. And Johan will be riding the crest of a wave today. How Ronan McCarthy goes waits to be seen. He's not had the greatest morning so far, I can tell you. His Northern Irish side were beaten in the team championship by England this morning, and him and Declan Brennan have also been bumped out of the doubles. So Ronan McCarthy could do with a slight upturn in fortunes. And Stephen James with you alongside the one and only former world finalist Tony Holgate, as Ronan McCarthy has made a little bit of a mess of these reds. He needs to find a reroute. I've found myself a Tony Holgate. Good afternoon to you.
You were about to say good morning.
It feels like morning.
It does. It does indeed.
I think sort of we've got to the stage of the fortnight where every minute of every day feels like 9 o'clock on a Monday morning.
Hang on a minute, you only came on Sunday. Start all out. I've been here for the duration.
That's true.
Nick Finn's deserted us.
Yep.
So he's back over in the UK.
Traitorous.
Exactly. Anyway, Ronan McCarthy. Yes, the Johan thing, there's two ways you can react. You can be full of confidence. Right, now I can just get on with the singles and try and win the world title. Or is a bit of, he's that excited he's won it. Does sort of, and this one doesn't mean, well, does it mean as much? Well, of course it means as much, but will he get carried away by the win last night? Wow, what a miss from Ronan McCarthy.
Well,
so as I was waffling, look at this.
Well, you were waffling because you thought there's no way that Ronan McCarthy can miss that, but that was
straight into the knuckle.
Yeah, just looking at the way that he cued that, he didn't cue that particularly well. I should tell you that in terms of the team event, Malta have had a good start this morning. There were 15-6 winners over Reunion. I wonder, mentioning that the contrast there with Ronan McCarthy's morning, I wonder how Johan Attard has got on in the doubles. Well, not very well, because I can tell you they were eliminated by Declan Brennan and Ronan McCarthy a couple of days ago in the last 32.
What if that sat in their mind?
Maybe.
But the change in gear for a singles match from a big team shootout like last night, because last night it's all noise. You're bouncing around with all your buddies and your teammates. You've lifted a world title. You're jumping up and down to a more serene singles match where there's plenty of time. You're not on the match clock. It's a race to 8. Your buddies aren't there to shout you on every shot. Different.
Yeah, it is, and it's a and Ronan's done this dance before. I mean, he's won this 2 times already, so he's got all the experience in the world of how this sort of championships works, the quirks of it, the dancing between different competitions. He's sort of got that down really. For Johan, he's an experienced campaigner in his own right, but he's never quite gone all the way to the bitter end. It could be the year he does, though. He needs to stress, for those who don't know, Johan Attard is fully capable of winning the World Championships. Now that he's at this stage, he is fully capable of winning it. You look at the sort of the last 16 lineup, and there's some names that you see in there, and you think, oh, I think might be a surprise if they manage to do it from here, but they've done really well to get to this stage. And there's some names where you think, yeah, I can see that, and Johan's one of those. Running through the full last 16 lineup in a second once Johan has knocked in these last 2 balls.
Nice shot.
Yeah, beautifully played.
And this to take the opening frame for Johan.
Just nothing silly here. Nice and low on the cue ball, can't miss. And it goes 1-0 to the Maltese. So this is the last 16 lineup.
Yeah, the great Tom Cousins eliminated earlier in the competition. He was in the Scotch doubles earlier today with Ross Dunn, his partner. And they won 6-2 against Ronan McCarthy and Ronan McCarthy in an impressive style. You know what? When I first saw the Scotch doubles appear on the calendar, I thought it was a drinking competition. It was never around when I played. Unbelievable, but yeah. To be fair, I don't know if I'd like to play too many things all at once. I think if you're always playing, I mean, when I played for Ireland, it was team and it was the singles. The World Masters suddenly appeared after about 4 or 5 years maybe, but it was concentrate on your team, you play your team matches, and then it would be a singles day. You would never play more than 1 or maybe even 2 matches of singles in a day, so you had a lot of breaks, which I quite liked because it suited me down to the ground. But now it seems to be a bit more condensed. You know, there's doubles matches, there's singles, there's teams. You know, you're forever playing in, and then your team managers say, right, you've got to go and support. These under-23s weren't there. The juniors was always there. But there's a lot going on.
Some might say too much.
I just did. No, for me personally as a player, you know, obviously there's all these people, they've come a long, long way and they want to play pool every day. I was not of that sort of makeup, you know, I want to play, I can concentrate better when I know, right, we've got 1 match at 10 a.m, we play at 2:30, then that's it. Tomorrow I've got a singles match at 11. If I win, I might have one at 7 in the evening, that's that. You know, it's just easier to manage for my brain anyway. And also it left plenty of time in between to visit the local hostility. Well, pubs then. No, I'm only joking. But no, it's just you're walking around in all your gear all the time. You're forever picking up your cue, putting it away again, picking it up.
Yeah, it's why I think it's that experience for Ronan is something you can't underestimate. But getting used to all of that and just how this sort of championship works towards the back end. Because don't forget the two years that Ronan McCarthy lifted the world title, he went to the final of the world teams. He was in the final of the doubles in 2023, that was, so cancel that one. But he's used to being in finals, put it that way. Last 3 years, he's been in plenty of finals. He sort of peaks at the right time.
I said the other night, when Gary Clark won that Masters, I spoke to him the next morning, and I said to him, I really don't know how you achieved it. I said, somebody's got to win, obviously, but I said, no way, don't care how well I was playing, I could not play back-to-back matches like that. Those long distances, the stamina, I would never have done it. I would never have done it. I'd have collapsed somewhere in a pile of really bad pool shots.
Well, I think Gary Clark was surprised that he managed it from speaking to him. But here we go, Ronan McCarthy levelling things up at 1-1 here. It's a lovely little clearance from Ronan. That'll help settle him in. And that world final that Ronan won last year may well be the greatest world final of all time in terms of the level produced from both players. I certainly don't think it can be matched in terms of the finish rate. You're a little bit sort of older than I am, Tony. You've seen.
Is security about anywhere? Somebody's going to get waltzed after this commentary box in a minute.
You've seen so many magnificent finals, especially all those great matches in the 90s, where it was a slightly different game, and it is a bit of an apples and oranges comparison. But when you consider everything, because, you know, great finals aren't just all about, you know, the number of dishes. It's about drama and all the rest of it. Theatre, entertainment, Where do you put it in the pantheon of great world
Last year's
finals?
final?
Yeah.
Ooh, it's up there, has to be, obviously. Anything that goes close for the comeback, I think it's written its own history. That one, it will be standalone for that. There's other finals, maybe for different reasons. There's never been an absolute massive holiday. I think Quinton Han, when he won it, just did level. He just didn't miss a ball. I played him in a money match just before he won that world title, and I played probably the best pool I could possibly play and lost 18-17 to him. And he pulled out the most ridiculous shot, and I walked away from that and said he's winning that world title.
Yeah.
And he couldn't. It's just unbelievable.
And the white suit.
The white suit, I do remember him playing in that. And I think I was commentating with 𝗔𝗁𝗁, and he said to me, what would you do with him? And I think he was playing one of the matches, he was playing Terry Hunt, I think. And I said, I'll tell you what I'd do. I said, I'd get a pint of black currant and soda and throw it all over his suit. I said, that's the only thing I think that might upset his rhythm, but he was incredible that year. But Rob McKenna as well. Rob McKenna, when he played in his finals, another absolute diamond of a pool player, one of the very, very best. To watch him in full flow was always a joy to behold. And then you can go through your Mick Kills, your Chris Mellings, your Gareth Potts, your Phil Harrisons, and Jason Twist, of course, as well. You look at that big chunk there between, I think,
golden generation, if you like.
Carl Morris in '98 won it, and then from after that it was Twist and Mellings. Daswald won it in '95. He beat Jason Twist in the final then. But it was that big chunk in the early 2000s when it was dominated by a quadrant of players of just an unbelievable level. And they're still playing now in various bits and bobs.
Yeah, and I think it's a testament. It's a lovely finish, by the way, from Johan. I think it's a testament to how good last year's final was, that it sort of is in the conversation with all those great finals, particularly with genuine legends of the game, as Johan goes 2-1 up.
I mean, when I lost in '96 to Greg Farron, I was 10-9 up, wanted one frame. And because the table's so big, I thought, well, there's no way he could run and hide and play any safety on me. When I did get my opening, I tried to borrow a bit of pocket, playing down the bottom rail, and it was there. There was like 3 more balls, and it was there. And it hung on the blue. And then I had a dry break on the last frame, and he cleared up. Which was, well, he's lucky he's still alive. But when it's changed to the smaller table now, but it's just as good.
Yeah,
but the cloth's faster, the balls are a bit heavier, which makes them move quicker.
Yeah, very different game. Very different
game.
It is. And the
rule change, of course.
Yeah, the rules is massive, but it is a very, very different game. That's for sure. But all that being said, the more things change, the more they stay the same. It's still the same fundamentals, isn't it?
What is more difficult now than it was when I played is because you're on the smaller table, your position has to be so much more precise.
That's the biggest difference, and I think this all the time. You get that sort of, kind of chatter, don't you? That dialogue online in particular, that pockets are too big, it's too easy to play on, all this sort of stuff. And I think, I can see that, but I also think anyone who's played on these tables knows how difficult they are to play on, because it's a dream to play on if you're playing well and you're world class, but it's so difficult to control the cue ball. That's the skill. Potting the balls, actually, especially an 8-ball pool, that's not really the issue. The pool players at this level aren't really supposed to miss. It's all about controlling the cue ball and the pattern play. That's the game, really. Potting balls is just sort of the expected bit.
Yeah. Listen, when somebody comes around and refits your table, let's say it's at home, it's in your local club or pub, you get brand new cushions, brand new cloth, brand new shiny pool balls. The pockets are going to be bigger because everything's new. There's a bit more give. And these tables are brand new, obviously, with the slickest cloth there is. in the best cloth because it has a bit of grip on it, this CPB8.
Good shot. That's
So the
right.
equipment is incredible as he very slowly takes that rest away.
Yeah, and that's why I think Ronan has had such success, because, you know, I think he'd be the first to sort of say, as a sort of, as the 8-ball falls in, very nice, as a sort of cueist.
From our ultimate pros is Greg Batten.
Yeah, really classical, yeah.
It is proper, you know, everything is in exactly the right place. Mike King is very...
It might also be
I like
slightly
his nice
controversial.
balance.
𝗪𝗁𝗁𝗍 as well.
Yeah, yeah.
𝗪𝗁𝗁𝗍 is like a tripod.
Yeah, very true, yeah. But yeah, my example of the perfect stance and cue action would be Greg.
Yeah, he's what you'd sort of look at in a manual, wouldn't
Yeah.
it be, and try and teach that. I'm not sure what the delay is here. There seems to be some confusion out there. Just trying to work out what the problem sort of seems to be. I mean, it's a dry break. Did one of the players think they'd made a ball?
Don't know.
There's definitely 15 balls on the table. Get your fingers out.
Yeah, just maybe fancy a little chat.
This match has rattled on at a bit of a pace. So too is the match on table 2. By the way, Carl O'Donoghue and Ben Doyle currently 3-1 over on table 2.
See, Declan Brennan's made a nice start, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. Just about to say that. So Carl O'Donoghue and Ben Doyle, if you're watching us live, currently live on Ultimate Pool TV, table 2 stream if you want to watch that game, or Irish Affair. Elsewhere in the last 16, this one's obviously 2-2, Giuseppe D'Imperio, Phil Harrison 2-1. Steve Dempsey and Sean Story are 1s, so are Robert McCullough and Sean Sharkey. Declan Brennan 3-0 up on Sean Walsh, as Tony was just saying there. Zach Shepherd 1-0 up on Stephen McGurn. And Ben Foster of Australia 2-0 up on Eddie Barker. It's all for the right to go into the quarter-finals. You can also say, just while we watch Johan make his way through this finish, is we'll see the women's quarter-finals fairly soon. It will follow this last 16 match. We'll be into the women's quarter-finals, and it's a fantastic lineup. It really is, as Johan has gone wrong. Quarterfinals coming up for you later. 2 games at 4 o'clock. Tasneem Solomons and Ashley Dinsmore, who beat Colby Poole late last night. Kirsty Lee Davies and Colette Henriksen. And then later on this evening, Sabria Brunet takes on Leanne Pearce. Emma Cunningham against Lindor Vine. One of those 8 ladies will be world champion. Johan Attard is just going to have some bad news. Well, maybe. Referee Jake Cooper is going to have a look at this. We're going to have an action replay for our referee to analyse. Was this a foul by Johan Attard? That is a tough call, I've got to say. I've watched it a few times. Say the same thing I say, Tony, every time we get one of these moments. I'm so glad I'm not a referee.
Yes, it's a thankless task.
I suspect that's a foul. I think Johan doesn't think it is. And usually as a player, you sort of know, don't you?
There you see, Jake Cooper has called the foul.
I don't think he has.
Wouldn't he?
Well, I think if he called it, he'd be picking the cue ball up. I think he said play on.
No, he hasn't. Oh.
Yeah, I don't. I think if you wanted to sort of guess, I think probably maybe you could say 60-40 it was a push. But it's so difficult to tell there, and there's nothing conclusive. I think it's probably the right call.
No, when he walked out, I thought he was going to pick the white up then. And it's just the way he purposefully walked towards the cue ball.
And it does really affect the frame as well, because that really dictates what Ronan's going to play next. Now, is Johan going to be aggressive?
I think you've got to be, with 3 reds. There's nowhere to run and hide, and you can't just think, well, the 8-ball's hard to get on. You can't, not at this level. I thought that was in.
As for Ronan, he might be forced to be going aggressive as well. I'm not sure there's any hiding places now. Wasn't the pot that Johan was looking for, but he has got a ball hanging over a pocket, one in the middle of the table, one close to another. Ronan's got a really bridge here. This is tricky. Yeah, I played that well. He's always focused there on not miscuing, really.
There you see Ronan's plan is to play that yellow down into the bottom right, off Johan's red. That will clear a path for the 8-ball. Oh, he's left it short. Intrigued by the 8-ball now, because you saw him queue up at a yellow a few shots ago that he wanted to play off that red down into the bottom right. And he played the one in the middle. The cue ball caught the red and it stopped it from getting onto it. So there is an angle here on this yellow. He could pot into the corner, kick the black out, but there's no guarantee of where he's going to finish on that last yellow. But I think he has to go, because you can't just leave the black there until the end. Oh, what a shot that is. Well, that's how to clear the path. Now then.
Fantastic.
More interestingly, he's going to have to power this into the middle bag. The red is blocking the way. He can't play up into the top left, so it's going to, well, unless he played a cross double. If he played a cross double into the right-hand middle, you could get the cue ball up and down. But if it's going straight in the left, this is a lot of power coming on here.
It was missable because of that, as he got away with it. Oh, he might have, you know. That is a hell of a leave.
Ooh.
Yeah, hand up. As you should. This was a fabulous shot. Really well executed from Ronan. This next yellow was really tough. But having said that, he has had an unbelievable amount of run here. Because I think Johan snookered, which is incredible. Yeah, he was. Absolutely amazing. He's played a fantastic shot there.
How'd you like that?
What a riposte from Johan Attard. And that's so deliberate as well. He's completely intended what he's wanted to do. Now, I'm sure he wasn't playing to leave the cue ball right on the 8-ball, but that was the plan, was to contact that side of the red and leave the cue ball in this quadrant of the table so Ronan had nothing on. But he's just executed it sensationally well. Ronan's on the same thing here. He's looking for the near side of the ball. He's not got it. Johan Attard is going to hit the front at 3-2. And after the safety shot that he played, he deserves it. Fantastic. The cue ball is going to be safe. That's so good from Johan. Gives that break a good old slap. Decent split this too.
Yellow's obviously the order of the day here. If he gets up onto that yellow that's stuck to the red, get rid of that into the middle.
Timeout.
Really should be Johan taking another frame. Just getting position now onto that yellow that's just beneath the bolt line. Anything that's just a slight angle to come down the table, even straight, you can screw back behind the red. Not in the plan.
No.
Nowhere to run and hide either here for Johan. I think there's only one shot. He can have to play a length of the table double back into the top left and hope, because there's no way he can block Ronan on those reds. They're all open.
It's a long way off it.
He's even helped Ronan as well by putting one over the bag for him. So.
Yeah. Just turns the table over. There's
Yep.
no benefit there for Johan with that shot. Couldn't get it going.
Yep, just one disappointing positional shot, and he was quite a long way away from being on that yellow, and be slightly annoyed with that because he'd have loved to get two in front. He still might, but he's going to now rely on Ronan after Ronan's just played a great positional shot as well of missing these reds, and you can't see it happening.
I think he'll be very annoyed. I really do. You know, it's men's singles. This is business time, really, of this tournament. Every mistake is massive.
Now then, which way does he go? He has a pot winning over the bag. Just come round the back of that yellow. Give himself a little drop into the middle with the last red.
Time running.
All about the weight. That looks very nice. You can just dribble that into the centre now. 𝗘𝗃𝗵𝗵 rolls through about 5 or 6 inches and have the 8 ball into the bottom left-hand corner, and this will drag McCarthy level once again.
Very nice.
And in it goes. World champion. Makes a ball. Yellows look the best suit, but where does he start? Coming round the back of the red to try and take the yellow over the bag. Very nicely done by Ronan McCarthy.
Yellow balls in play.
Would have just liked to come a tad further there, but he's okay. This will really rub salt into the wounds of Johan if McCarthy completes this break and finish.
Yeah, well,
Extension call.
Johan's had his chances to be up.
He's not happy with that second yellow. He's not convinced it goes in. He wants to leave himself with a different angle so he can pot the one that's above out of 2 yellows into the corner and go to the side of the table to play the yellow in the other corner. There you see, this goes in easily. I think this still goes in, and so does Ronan, but he'd have rather had it so he didn't have to play this with half a pocket. So he wants to get the 𝗘𝗃𝗵𝗵 back to basically where he is now. Leave a little dribbly cut down into the bottom left. There you see the half a pocket he's got. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Wiped its feet, but in it went.
Master of an 8 ball. Out the pocket, good shot. As Tom Cousins would say.
barge.
These are best of 15 frames, these matches. So races to 8. And that's what happens when you've made a couple of mistakes. Or what tends to happen, Johan Attard gives them a big old smack and gets no reward.
Yellow balls in play.
Well, unexpected miss from McCarthy just along the top there. So Johan Attard finally comes to the table to get his hand in amongst. Have a go at these reds.
Neither player has fully hit rhythm so far.
Johan just distracted by a shout from across the arena in another match.
Red balls in play.
I think that's the awkward red dispatched. This is going to be 4 each.
Yeah, halfway point of the match here. And no give in either of these gentlemen. Johan Attard pumps in the 8 ball for 4 all. Race to 8. shot from Johan. Has the yellow available to the right middle pocket to continue the visit. Only one more tricky yellow to really care about. That's towards the bottom right. One just below the middle pocket is fine, just needs some concentration. One underneath the red on the right side, though, is a problem. That yellow by the middle pocket was right over it. It'd be quite easy just to maybe drop down behind it, but where it is an issue. We've got a hint of angle here, can't really use it, so we'll use this yellow now to the bottom left to work an angle. Or does he want to get rid of the one by the middle? Questions, questions. This is tricky. That's the key to the visit, this shot here.
I can't believe he's not hit one of those two balls as we've gone through.
Yeah, to get the gap in and out is really unlucky. I would say though, Tony, we say this a lot when we watch the very best players in the world. You think of Tom Cousins, Declan Brennan, etc., etc. I'm not sure they'd have left that particular problem to this point in the visit. Because that is the problem ball.
No, you're right. It would have been addressed earlier, definitely.
Oh, has he landed on it?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's got a gap there. That's a very good shot if he has.
Well, if he's on it, it's a fantastic shot. And you could argue, maybe should have been plan A.
Yeah, I think you can. Squeak it off the red. If so, we should goes clean as well.
Yeah, it definitely goes. It's just whether he can get through to the potting angle. It's the big question. And he could. How's his cue ball?
That looks, ooh, okay.
He'll take it.
Tough. The thing is, the cue ball's going in the right direction.
Yeah, that's the main thing. It's just he's going into a blind pocket, which is the tricky thing.
I mean, a bit of topspin should take it past the middle bag with a cue ball.
Yeah, the cue ball's pretty routine here. Pot needs some work.
Great pot, and he decided not to bother going anywhere near that middle bag. He put a little bit of bottom of the cue ball and accepted taking a longer black ball. So, this 8-ball for Johan Attard. He kept himself 5-4 in front against the world champion, and it's in. That was a very, very good finish there. Ronan McCarthy taps his knee in appreciation.
Yeah, excellent. He's going to get first chance. Let's go 2 in front, 2 away.
Reds for me here. Try and put one of those two reds in the right hand middle and come down and get rid of the one that's next to the black. Probably so play the bottom red out of these two. I thought he might play the other one, get that one out of the way because that's blocking the path of the one that's very central. Could re-ruse and play the red he's nearest to into the top right hand corner, screw the cue ball down next to the red that's, well, the red that's next to the 8-ball next, roll that in, the other one in the centre, 2 at the top. Take a little look at the clock. So he's sailing fairly close to the win. So he's going to take this red into the top corner, come down for the red that's next to the 8-ball. So they can run this in, runs the other red into the opposite middle pocket, takes out the 2 at the top, and whichever red he takes at the top, he just brings the cue ball down the right-hand side of the table. He cannot fail to be on the 8-ball into that left-hand centre where this red's going. So it's all about leaving yourself on your last red with the angle to come straight down into this right-hand rail, because you've got an absolute acre of space to land in to pot the black, and this would give the 6-4 lead to Johan Attard in a great time of the match. Could play the one in the corner, just leave that similar angle there and play that red in the middle next and roll down straight towards it. I think that's what I'd be doing. I think that's an easier path. So pot the one in the corner, just screw back a little bit. Leave yourself cutting the red into the centre, come down the table, going the other way.
Yeah, it's sort of horses for courses, really. Ooh,
I don't like it.
No, I don't like this.
I don't understand. It was very, very easy to go the way I said then. You didn't have to do anything with the white. Screw back 2 inches.
That's a tough one. Look, Johan's at the table. He's the one who sort of can really tell what he sees, but I can't think that this was ever the way. These yellows look like they play big.
He's okay. He has a shot, but he did really complicate that finish.
It could have gone wrong.
It could have.
He gets that yellow half ball and he ends up behind it. Yeah, this. Oh, in goes the 8-ball.
You couldn't. You'd only have to screw back a couple of inches. Not
yeah,
all
you need is the red that he played in the middle. If you played the one to the top and basically left the same shot again into the middle, you couldn't fail.
No.
Running through everything at that break, and he's got work. And Ronan sees his pattern so well that the way that Johan finished that frame won't have been lost on him. It will have irritated him.
I will, because when he played onto that last red, he'll have been sat there looking right at it thinking, wow, what are you doing? You give me a chance here.
Yeah. Tough call here. It will be reds.
He needs to split that little bunch open on this shot.
Yeah, this is razor thin to do that. Good shot. Next question. Yellow, sorry, the red next to the 8-ball.
Yep, there's no way that goes cleanly. If he tries to pot that one and swing the cue ball in, we'll have another visit from Jake. He'll have another look with a slow-mo, but no. He's going to have to move it.
Or do you move it? Or do you think Ronan's taken his set and is happy to go to war?
Well, he's 6-4 down.
I think you struggle to win this in one visit.
I do. Red next to the yellow in the middle of the tables are also tricky.
There's no prizes for winning in one visit, remember. And Ronan's a master of sort of playing the right shot. It's very seldom you see a Ronan McCarthy shot and think, oh, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
He tends to make very, very good decisions. And I think that's a good decision.
Yeah, he's not going to just...
Because that yellow at the top is a huge problem for Johan, and the 8-ball's a massive problem for Johan as well.
Johan will move that yellow at the top now. He'll try and play along the bottom rail. It doesn't go, but it'll push into that red ball that's near that top left. And he can just bump it slightly in front of it and basically forcing Ronan to act over there. He can't just leave it there then.
Both players have the red and yellow together.
The other option is for Johan to play the yellow down into towards that bottom corner. Don't put it over the bag. Put it in front of that red and the 8-ball.
Give himself some
Here's me
skin in the
talking
game.
tactics now, look.
What's up in the 8-ball? Oh, I thought he was going to. I feel like if you're going to play that shot, you almost might as well.
I don't understand that one at all.
He's going game.
No, he's not. Is he going to get the cushion? That's going to be ball in hand for Ronan McCarthy.
I don't like that from Johan, I've got to say. I think the decision to pot was a bad one. And obviously the decision there, not good.
Ronan's playing safe. He's going to bump this red out and put the cue ball stuck to the 8-ball.
Yeah, This could be a massive swing frame in the match, this. Those two shots from Johan just felt were a bad choice.
Or is he going game? I think he might be going game now, the way he's just placed that over.
It's a big pocket.
Yeah. I thought for a second he was going to wait.
Yeah, good shot. Didn't even need the big pocket. I think every ball goes now. I think
Yeah.
Ronan can find a home for the red that's next to the yellow.
Goes bottom right. And in fact, he'll probably take it next if he knocks this ball into the top right.
He's going to get perfect on it.
He could nudge it out now if he wants to, because he's got an angle on the one in the middle. I think he might, because it's quite easy to hit that yellow half ball and brush it away from that other red. Nope.
That's what we see a lot from Ronan. He's not a big fan of moving balls around.
No.
If it has a home, he backs himself to get where he is right now.
So, can play the plant. I think he might just play the one over the back, and he'll probably play the plant. I said that. He is.
He needs to watch the first red that he hits. Yeah, that's okay. Left himself a little angle here to track down the table.
Nothing fancy.
I think this has been a lesson, this frame from Ronan McCarthy. He's a former World Masters champion, but for me, in many ways, he is the master. That was such a beautifully navigated frame of 8-ball. That was desperate in the end. Bit of a flash from 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 O'Donoghue as we pick this game on table 1 back up, and it is Johan Attard at the table. Chance to make amends for the frame that he just dropped.
Not only that, chance to get on the hill.
And also,
This is
such a good chance.
And you'll think that Ronan will be a little bit aggrieved, because Johan's gotten away with a couple here and just shot selection here and there. But on the whole, Johan's break has been better than Ronan McCarthy's in this match. And I think that, to be fair, has been the biggest difference. I think Ronan, through the balls in his finishes, has played better than Johan Attard in his selections and the way he's gone about it. But the Attard break is bigger than Ronan McCarthy's. Got to make sure he leaves himself at least straight on that yellow. That'll be fine. Can come down the table. If he lets himself too much of a thin cut, he's coming away from that 8-ball. Got top off that shot a bit, did Johan? I can tell you, Ben Doyle won that frame over on table 2 and now leads 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 O'Donoghue by 6 frames to 5 as Johan Attard completes the break and dish.
Oh,
How on earth has that stayed out? He's had about
bonus.
4 bumps to try and knock it in there.
well, is that a sign from above for Ronan McCarthy that his title defence isn't going to end yet? How on earth has that stayed up?
No idea.
And reds are okay. He's got a tricky red to the middle.
Reds
Reds are okay.
That has defied the laws of gravity.
That's extraordinary. It really is extraordinary.
Right. That was not... He didn't want to bump the black ball down that far. It's covered his other red, but it will go bottom left. So Ronan may well be looking at taking that red ball up into the top right-hand corner. McCarthy now needing a perfect positional shot on that second to last red. He wants to land just above it so he can play it into the bottom right and roll the cue ball through so he can play his last red bottom left. He's pulled a bit of a face there because I don't think he can hold that cue ball. It's going to go too far to the left hand side, and he can't go across twice because those two yellows are in the way. This really is, McCarthy's on the brink here. He is on the brink. Right, he's going to try and move it.
He has been on the brink before and he has survived.
Don't tell me he can get that. Can he get to that little cut in the middle, in the corner? If he can, that is a massive slice of luck.
I can't tell whether he can or not.
And he won't give anything away because he's got the best poker face.
That is about as much emotion as you'll ever see from Ronan McCarthy, and I genuinely can't tell if he's upset or if he feels like he's got away with one. If he's not on the one to bottom right, he's not on anything. Is it a double?
It looks like a cut. I don't think the double goes yellows in the way.
He had to turn it, he was on it.
No.
Wow.
Oh my good lord.
What a bonkers frame to stay in the World Championships as a defending champion. This is the sort of frame that can get in your opponent's heads. Ronan McCarthy has had the sort of flicks that you only get when you're a champion in this frame. How on earth is he still in the tournament?
Johan Attard will be asking exactly the same thing.
That is phenomenal. Foster still with work to do. Johan Attard breaks off on the hill against the world champion, and wouldn't you know it, he's in off. Do you believe, Tony? Do you believe?
You can't not believe. Johan Attard's face is just thinking, what have I done? What's happened?
Ronan McCarthy is going to go on a tour around Ennis, knocking on doors at this rate.
You better not knock on my one.
This is extraordinary. He has work. That's the only consolation for Johan, is that he has work. But he's just done it. Has he?
No, it's gone too far.
Didn't quite get it right. Ben Doyle is also now on the hill against 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏.
Can McCarthy play that yellow that's next to that red off the red and push it towards yellow over the bottom left? I don't know if he can hit it thin enough. And the contact still might be a bit thick on that red. It'll probably push it below. But I don't know where else he can go. The extension will be getting used, that's for sure.
Extension
Yeah.
hold.
He's not gone. He's saying to Johan Attard If you want a place in the next round by knocking out the world champion, go get him, champ.
Yep.
It's risky. It is risky.
Right, so Johan will play loss of turn, but it'll be the shot that he'll try and push the red in after it and try and play a skill shot coming, but and it will go in.
Fantastic skill shot.
Now then, the balls are there now for Johan. Can he push this red in and flick that other red away from that yellow? If not, it's still available in the bottom left and he can work his way round to it. Tricky though. Nevertheless, if you're going to land the world title and you're going to be ousting the world champion, well, he has been able to knock it out. You're going to be faced with tough finishes and tough choices.
It's a tough finish, all right. This is a tough finish, all right. Well, you just felt, didn't you, that that was an edgy visit to the table from Johan.
Can't blame that one on Ronan McCarthy. And his magical powers. (7-5) down to 7-6. And is Ronan McCarthy going to get this to 7-all and a one-frame decider with that man from Malta, Johan Attard.
And one thing you can say is when it comes to bottle, there's not many you'd put in front of the queue when it comes to Ronan McCarthy. The man is granite.
Very, very true indeed.
Sometimes at this stage of a World Championships, it does, very humbly, come down to bottle. He has never been wanting in that sense. Regarded by many as the greatest money player of all time in this game.
Right up there.
And do you know what a part of it is as well, Tony? It's not just that he's got loads of bottle, because he obviously has. The way his game works, because how good his patterns are, he doesn't tend to put himself in the position where he's got to play mad shots under tons of pressure. He keeps the game so simple. It's easier to hold yourself together on simple shots. It's 8-ball to go, Hill.
In it
Ronan
goes.
McCarthy, never in doubt. Shake a hand between he and Johan Attard. That can only happen, really, when the stars are aligning in your favour. But he has scratched this time. Ronan McCarthy scratches the break.
Just look at that little bump right at the last down there with that yellow and red. That was going to be tucked in between those two yellows. It's got bumped off the last ball and just fell over the bag. That now moves out the 8 if he does go reds, which I think he has to.
I think you have to.
And I think he's learned his lesson. He's going to go down, play this red into the middle, come down, attack it early. Earlier on we saw him leave balls till the last and he paid the price.
Ronan McCarthy on his feet to watch. Is the world champion about to go out? Similar to what we were saying a moment ago, this all comes down to bottle.
A lot comes down to this shot right here. Oh, he's got it out. But what's he got on the reds? He has a shot at a red. I don't think he can get through to that one in the middle, or can he?
Yeah, he has a shot, but it's difficult. What did you think about that shot selection, Tony?
I think correct down there. He could have gone earlier, but I think he's gone the right way this time. I mean, the chance is there. He can get the one in the middle. Has he been kind? Yes. Oh, an extra roll's killed it. Now then, can he just roll the red into the centre, the one that's in the centre of the table? Cue ball just rubs into the yellow that's next to the 8-ball. It will leave him a shot. He doesn't want to come off at half ball. Now you see where the black will go in his corner, half a pocket. Wants this in the middle, cue ball into the yellow next to the black ball to its left. Oh, not that way. Oh, not that way. It was meant to be on the way down. Oh, wow.
This is edgy.
Well, the 8-ball now only goes in the right-hand middle. So off 3 cushions, right-hand side on his cue ball, pots the red in the corner, off top rail, off right-hand side rail, down into the area, left-hand side rail, and onto the black for the right middle pocket.
1, 2, 3. How's your leave? How's your leave?
He's come a bit further than he liked, but he has a shot. This is it. This is it. He'd have loved to have just been able to get his hand on the table, but it's a little bit cushed up. This is as big a nerve jangler as you're likely to face playing this game of 8-ball.
Johan Attard to knock out the world champion. He's done it. He has done it. Ronan McCarthy's defence ends here in Ennis. The Maltese Johan Attard continues his personal phenomenal run in the last couple of days. He was a World Team Shootout champion with Malta yesterday, and now he is a World Championship quarter-finalist, knocking out the defending champ here in Ennis. Fantastic result for Johan Attard and Malta. He held himself together